Hi, thanks for watching. It's the Lipstick Gal. I wanted to do a full face of Charlotte Tilbury today. Charlotte Tilbury is one of my absolute favorite brands. I know I've done a video similar to this, but over the last year, I've slowly been collecting some new things, and I thought it might be nice to do a full face with different products. If you're interested in seeing the other one, I'll make sure and link it for you here as well as in the down bar. All right, before we get started, thanks for watching and subscribe if you haven't. I had to run errands earlier today, so I already have my SPF on because I never leave the house without it, but I've been trying to start my videos recently by applying my SPF, but it's already on. But I was thinking about primers, and there are a couple of different Charlotte Tilbury primers. I do have, here it is, it's right here. I do have this one. This is the Wonder Glow. It's not my favorite. And this really isn't listed as a primer, but that's how I use it. It's the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I love this stuff. And I have been starting off by using this just by dabbing it on the high points of my face. I find if I get this close to like my nose area, I just become a greasy mess. But I don't have any problem with it in other spots, just not my nose. It gives a really gorgeous, like beautiful glow to the skin. I really, really love this. Last time I did Charlotte Tilbury, I used the Light Wonder. I think this time I'm going to use the Magic Foundation. You know, I just heard that she's coming out with a new foundation. I don't know if it's next month. I think it might be, and I'm so excited. So I'm just going to put a pump of this on the back of my hand, dot it all over, and then blend it in. I found I like this foundation best when I don't use the full pump, or when I use a really absorbent sponge that sucks up a lot of it. The problem I had when I first got this foundation is that it looked too much like it was sitting on top of my skin, and I never got really good, gorgeous magic results with it. And I was like, really? Really? I even tried it with the Magic Cream, that, you know, her first, I think, product that everybody loves. I tried it with everything I could think of, all Charlotte products, and the truth is, it just didn't work well for my skin when I was putting on the full pump. I'm making you make those when you get home on a Sunday, because I would love a homemade English muffin. My phone just rang, and it was my husband. He and my kids are camping with some friends, and I don't camp. I make Charlotte Tilbury videos while they're gone. So I'm going to finish making sure that my foundation is the way I want it to look. I don't know if I got cut off in the middle of a sentence saying something important. Mainly, I like this foundation when I don't use a full pump. And there have been times that I have mixed it with a bit of this, like actually mix it on the back of my hand, and it looks beautiful. But I feel like you still see the glow from the Flawless Filter from this, and I feel like it really helps this foundation, which I hadn't really used. I've used about this much of it because I just never liked the way it felt like it was sitting on top of my skin. All right, let's put a little concealer on. And I'm kind of deciding, this one, the retoucher, is in my project pan, but I have also been a big fan of the Magic Away. I think I'm gonna use this one today. I do feel like I don't have the exact right shade. I have shade 2, which leans just a hair pink. I was worried that one would be too light, and I would have that like reverse panda eye look going on, but I almost wear this like foundation too. It does a pretty good job of hiding my hyperpigmentation spot. Pretty impressed with it for that. The consistency between the Magic Away concealer and the retoucher is a lot more lightweight and has a lot more of an emollient feel to it. This is significantly thicker, and I feel like it does a really great job of hiding my under eye circles. I definitely want to try a different shade and see if I like the way that it looks better. I absolutely love the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder for my under eye. It's my favorite under eye setting powder, and I feel like it works really well with the Magic concealer. I do occasionally use this all over the face, but I also like it in the corners of my nose. And then for a little bit more of a luminous finish all over the rest of the face, I use the Magic powder. Just realized if I put my powder on right now, I'm not going to be able to use this. This is probably one of my favorite Charlotte Tilbury products. This is the Contour Wand. Oh, this is a beautiful, mine is of course very well loved, very dirty. And it has a little ring around the base here that you can turn on and off to help either close it up, or you can unlock it and then you can squeeze more product up through the cushion itself. So I'm going to throw a little bit of this on and we'll blend it out. It always looks a little stark when I first dab it on. I always put a little bit on my jowls. And then I just use my sponge to blend it in. It blends in absolutely beautifully. I think we'll start down here. I'm just going to use some of the magic powder now, just to lightly set the rest of my face. So the rest of my powder products go on nicely over the top of this and nothing grabs. I've always been a big fan of the Filmstar Bronze and Glow. It's a very beautiful, easy to use. I think the bronzer in here is gorgeous, and I don't feel like I need a lot with this, but it does, just the warmth that it brings to the face on top of the contour, it's really nice. I was kind of trying to figure out, do I want to use this or do I want to use the bronzer in this? I love this Glowgasm palette, and the bronzer, it's like almost completely lost the impression it had of the word love on there. I was just like, I use nothing but you. So I think maybe we'll just do a combo. Do you ever do that? You know, use 2 separate blushes or 2 separate bronzers. I do that a lot sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I just want a little bit of this. Oh, maybe a little bit of that. And I think a lot of times it just comes from the joy of opening certain products because they make me happy. And this one is one of those products. So for blush today, I'm going to use both of the blushes in here. And I usually just do this. It's true, but that's what I do. I especially love these blushes because they are naturally glowy on their own. There have been days that I need a little color to my face and I'm not wearing a lot of makeup like concealer. I'll reach for these blushes because they have a little bit of a glow to them and I don't feel like I need the highlight. It still keeps my skin looking fresh and natural without being heavy. So a little concealer, a little bit of this, some brows mascara, and a light glowy lipstick, and I'm like heaven. I do love the highlight in here, but I think today I'm going to use the highlights from the Bar of Gold palette. Oh, these guys just make my heart happy. And I also do the same thing with these. They just kind of go across. So this always ends up looking like really messy, the inside of this palette. But I kind of don't care because look at that. It just is the most gorgeous glow. For an eye look, I thought it might be fun to try this. This is the Icon palette. This came out at the holidays this year, and I didn't pick it up. And then I saw a Wayne Goss video where he was talking about Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. He says he loves them, the quality is great, but these guys are in the mid $50 range, and I've got a couple of these. Like, you get 4 pans per palette. So this one here is the Golden Goddess, and this one is the Dolce Vita. And the other thing is Wayne said that this, you get 12 shades in here, and this is $65. I think it's only like $10 or $11 more than a 4-pan quad, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I think that if I'm going to continue to buy Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows, I'm probably going to do it this way and not this way. You know what's funny is I'm looking through here, there are no mattes. These guys at the bottom are satins. There are some satin shades in here, and then there are some very glittery shades, but there are no mattes. And I forget about that a lot of times Charlotte builds her looks with mostly satin shadows and then really, really shimmery toppers. So I guess we're doing that. We are. I'm grabbing this shade right here, and I'm going to plop that all over my eye. I'm going to use this lightest shade here in the arch of my brow as well as in the inner corner. I think I'm going to go for this deeper wine tone in the outer V. That's pretty. I'm trying to decide between a handful of shades. I'm not really sure. They're all so beautiful. I think I'm going to go for this middle one here on the first third of my lid, and I'm just going to use my finger. By the way, if you were wondering, it's this one right here. So I'm going to take that first neutrally brown shade and run that underneath my lower lash line. I'm also going to take a combination of this and this, which is like a black, a slightly satiny black, and I'm going to combine that on a really thin little liner pencil brush here and just use that to smoke out my lower lash line just a little bit. You know what's nice about this black shade is it's not so black. I usually kind of, unless I'm using it for a liner, I try and stay away from the blacks because sometimes if they're really, really pigmented, I have a hard time blending them on the eye and then I completely ruin an eye look. But I think this, even with a really light wash on a really fluffy brush, let's just see. I'm going to take a really soft, fluffy brush and just the lightest, smallest possible amount of that black and see if we can intensify this outer corner here just a smidge. Oh yes, look at that. Oh, I've been looking for a black that I could use to make things just a little darker without getting too dark. Because I like the idea of black to intensify, but not so much that it just becomes like a big giant splotch of black. I'm going to use some of this Rockin' Kohl Iconic Liquid Pencil in Verushka. I'm going to put some on my upper waterline and then I'm going to very carefully sharpen it and line my top lid with this as well. By the way, Verushka is a really beautiful kind of smoky gray color. The problem I find with this is it works really well on my upper lash line, but in my upper tight line, like right up in my upper waterline, that's where I find that when I blink it transfers to my lower waterline, which is what I don't want. I'm going to grab a brush like this and some of this black and see if I can set what's in my upper waterline. This may not be a good idea, but we're going to try. I don't know if you can see it, but I already have some transfer of that Verushka to my lower waterline. Maybe I should just try and not fight that fight, but I want it to stay where I put it. The one thing I don't have is a Charlotte Tilbury mascara. Now, I have tried the Legendary Lashes, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and the Full Fat Lashes, and while the Legendary Lashes Volume 2 is nice and the Full Fat Lashes is nice, I do prefer other high-end mascaras more. So I'm going to be using a different mascara today, and I'll be back to put on something for brows and lips. One of my all-time favorite Charlotte Tilbury products is the Legendary Brows. This, I think, is one of the best brow fibrous tints out there. It has this teeny tiny, so epically small spoolie. It also has those really great fibers that and I always back comb my brows when I'm using a fiber tinted gel like this. I feel like it really helps the fibers adhere to what little I have in my brows, and I build it up where I want it, and then I'm able to just go through the rest and then lay it down the way I want. And I'm always impressed by how good this one product can make my brows look. Now, if you were to add a pencil to this, utter perfection. But just this by itself, oh, I love it. This is my favorite brow product. The Brow Gal makes something similar to it called Insta-Tint, but I think between the two, I think they're almost apples to apples, but they're very similar in price. I just decided that this was the one I was going to get when I needed to repurchase something like this, but I absolutely love the Legendary Brows, and I feel like it gives me a really nice full brow. I didn't put anything other than this in my brows, and they're not as dark as normal, but then it looks just a hair more natural, and because of the fibers, it does make them look just a little bit fuller, a little bit more bushy, which is what I like. I thought it would be fun to try some of the new Hot Lips Volume 2. Oh, I love her Hot Lips formula so much. And I know that there's a mixture of the Matte Revolution in there as well as the Kissing formula. And I got two. This one is in the shade JK Magic. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. And it looks like the packaging on here is like a starry night sky, which to me is so perfect for JK Rowling. And this one here is Angel Alessandra. And look at this with the panthers and that Art Deco kind of, look at this. Just beautiful. One tends to be a little bit more peach. Let me do a little swatch on the back of my hand here for you. That is Angel Alessandra. I don't know what I'm going to wear yet. And I don't know why I got two nudes, but these were the two, I think, out of all of them. And this one here is JK Magic. I don't know. They also smell incredible, sweet. I think I'm going to go with the JK Magic. I'm going to throw on a little bit of Charlotte's Pillowtalk lip cheat, and then we'll put on some of the JK Magic. Time to put on some of the JK Magic. This is beautiful. I love these. I think they're fantastic. Oh, I'm so happy to have these. I just realized I have on too much highlight. Everywhere I look, it's like, bing! Like, shiny, 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 shiny. I can't help it. I feel like out of all of the things that Charlotte makes, I can't decide whether I love her lipsticks more or whether I love her highlights more. And I feel like she does things like this so well. Now, I am obviously a lover of lipsticks and I have an addiction to highlight, so I'm not surprised those are the products that I go for. But when I think about Charlotte's brand as a whole, I feel like she has a really gorgeous way of bringing light to the face, light to the body. If you think about her supermodel body, if you think about even this flawless finish, if you think about the fact that like even her original bar of gold, there is so much. And the highlight in this Filmstar Bronze and Glow is gorgeous, and it's very light, a little bit more natural, not quite as intense as the Bar of Gold palette, but I feel like that's what she's really all about. And when you think about it, even in her eyeshadow palettes, they're all either satins or metallics. There is no matte. And I was like, is that really true? And I was even looking back through these guys. Yeah, it is. Every single one of her eyeshadow palettes, it's all satins and metallics. So I feel like she really does like to shine the light, whether it's on the eyes or on the cheeks, and to really, really, really make sure that the skin looks glowy from every single aspect. And I like that. I do like a more glowy look. And I feel like Charlotte does that beautifully. And I feel like that when I wear a more intense eye like this, I do like to balance it out with a nude lip. And I feel like out of all of the different brands of lipsticks that I have, I realize that I have more nudes from Charlotte Tilbury because I feel like she does nude lipstick perfectly. I have a lot of nudes from the first Hot Lips collection, and then these two from the second one. I only bought nudes. It's like, how did I only buy nudes? I didn't buy any reds. I really, really, really wanted to go for this sort of a look. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I don't know if you have drunk from the Charlotte Tilbury Kool-Aid like I have. I apparently have, because everything you've seen here is not even my entire Charlotte Tilbury collection. I love Charlotte's products. I feel like they work well for me, and not every single makeup company. Now that I'm in my mid-40s at 44, some things that I used to be able to wear before only age me, and I don't feel like Charlotte's products do that. I feel like she's really conscious of making sure everybody looks gorgeous at every single stage in their life. And I love that, which is why I have so many of these. Let me know if you have a favorite Charlotte Tilbury product or a product that kind of makes you go, maybe I should check that out. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.